the rhythm.
And welcome back, everybody, to the BaseLINE podcast. I'm your host, BaseLINE Newman. Now, about 2 months ago, we did have Jared Klein, wrestling legend, on the podcast, and now we kind of have another family member within that section of our family, as his grandson-in-law is coming on the podcast today. He is a Michigan State football legend, playing defensive back / free safety. Please welcome my special guest, Kurtis Drummond. Kurtis, how you doing today?
Man, I'm doing great. I appreciate you having me on, Ben. I'm excited.
Yeah, absolutely. It's great to have you on. Haven't seen you since I was like probably 8 or 9 years old, so it's kind of cool, being more adult now and see you now.
Yeah, man, you all grown up too. So you didn't give me the heads up that I was following such a legend though, man. Jerry, that's the Hall of Famer, man. That's big shoes to follow.
Hey, I mean, you're a legend in your own right at Michigan State, in my opinion.
I appreciate it.
Of course. Now, Curtis, to start it off, how have you been? What have you been up to lately?
Yeah, so lately, as of late, got a family, wife, Amelia. We got a 3-year-old son, Jetson. So he takes a lot of our time. We got a trucking company that we run, a fleet of trucks, where I spend most of my time dealing with that. And really just spending time with family and kind of giving back to community. I train kids on the side to kind of keep me around football. But like I said, most of my attention and focus is definitely on my family and kind of our investments that we got going on.
No, that's great. And, like you just mentioned, your son, Jetson, did turn 3 this year. What has that been like these last 3 years, just kind of transitioning into being a dad?
Man, it's life changing. It's crazy. I have many nieces and nephews, but never really had to, take care of an infant when they needed the diapers and things changed. I would just pass it along. So I never really had to do the duties like that, and so I was a little worried of how I was going to handle that. And it was crazy because it didn't really hit me. I knew my wife was pregnant, but it didn't really hit me until you see the baby come out. And once I seen him come out, man, it's like a parent instinct just comes out of nowhere. Like you just have this little thing to take care of, and they start to turn into get the personality and become more and more like you than you didn't even realize it. And so it's kind of eye-opening in a way as well to see them.
Oh, absolutely. I can only imagine. I'm nowhere near ready to have a kid, so
I'll take your time.
Can't necessarily relate, but it's still cool to see. Now, Curtis, before we get into any part of your professional and collegiate careers, you were born and raised in Hubbard, Ohio, near the border of Pennsylvania. Can you talk about your upbringing a little bit and how it kind of played into your love of football?
Yeah, from Youngstown, Ohio, Northeast Ohio. Went to a little D3 school called Hubbard. Um, it was it's a blue collar town, steel mill industry. They call it the Steel Valley. It's a lot of hard workers. Was raised in a single parent household. First was raised with my grandmother. Then when she passed away, moved with my mom. So definitely experienced a lot of adversity, a lot of hardships. Had to see what hard work really was. And it definitely instilled those qualities and values in me that I was able to, propel me onto opportunities. But I'm definitely thankful for being introduced to sports, because that was my way out of there. It's shown me a lot of great things, introduced me to a lot of amazing people. And so I'm definitely thankful for where I come from, and I definitely don't forget.
Everybody has a kind of a different journey to get to where they want to go, and it's cool that you were able to face so much adversity to kind of make it to where you are now, which is just very cool to see. But now, I'm not sure what other sports you did play in high school, but what was it about football that you loved over these other sports?
Yeah, it's that's a crazy story, man, because I loved basketball. Uh, I thought that, I was going to be the next LeBron James. I grew up in that era watching him. Uh, I remember going to see Terrell Pryor even playing high school. I thought basketball was going to be it, man. I remember always walking, dribbling the basketball to the bus stop. and almost stopped playing football in ninth grade just to play basketball. And basketball, I mean, football just kind of chose me, to be honest. Especially defense. I thought I would definitely just want to score points. I didn't even start playing defense until my junior year. I just want to score touchdowns. And so it's funny you say that. So basically, college offers started to come, and it panned out that my offers looked better in football than basketball. In basketball, the only opportunity I even had was to go play at Youngstown State. Was in Division I AA, and just weighing the options, it just, it was more opportunity in football. So my junior year came, I had a decent season, started to pick up some attention, started to gain some offers. And so football really chose me. And I chose to play defense because I had an opportunity to make my own plays. Offense, I played receiver and I was reliant on other guys. And I just wanted to put the pressure on myself. I wanted to be able to be out there and roam around and make plays for myself. So I chose defense, but I would say football chose me.
Yeah, for sure. And I guess going off of that, you did mention LeBron, but I guess whether it be football or basketball, who were some of your favorite players to watch growing up?
Man, I watched, like I said, I watched a lot of basketball. So I was a big Allen Iverson fan. I was a big Tracy McGrady fan. Definitely was a LeBron fan. Football was definitely Mike Vick fan, Chad Johnson, just some entertainers. My first jersey I had was Warwick Dunn and Warren Sapp. So I was a Tampa Bay, I guess, fan by choice. But that was when I was growing up. You can go to the flea market and get all different type of jerseys, and so we used to wear a lot of jerseys. So, but definitely my favorite one was probably I had a I had a Jason Richardson high school jersey, which was pretty nice that I got at a flea market on for a good price. So I would definitely say that was it.
Was it a Warriors one, Jason Richardson?
It
Warriors.
was.
Okay. Yeah, that's a cool looking jersey. Know exactly which one you're talking about. Now, you know, I do have to ask. It is bad. It's bad enough that I have to have a Spartan on the podcast. But since you did grow up in Ohio, I do have to ask: were you an Ohio State fan growing up?
You see, so I went to a school whose colors were actually maize and blue, and so I had a little liking for that team because that was my brother's favorite team. So growing up, I did have an interest in that other team down the road. But once I got older and got sense and uh, was able to think for myself, I realized that the green and white was the choice to make.
All right. Now, as an alumni so far, what are your thoughts on Michigan State's season, up to this point?
Oh man, we definitely got some room for improvement. You see some bright spots, but just want to see probably consistent play. Being able to play complementary football where all three phases are rolling together. But I'm excited for Coach Tucker. He brings a lot of energy and excitement, optimism to East Lansing. So I'm looking forward to what he can do. It's still early on in his career. Give him a chance to implement his culture through the whole team and his players, and I'm excited to see it. Right now, the program is not winning games like we want to see, but we'll get it together for October 29th and right the ship. So I'm not too worried.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. But I agree though. Coach Tucker has, honestly, he has had a pretty good, short career so far at Michigan State, and obviously, some losses that probably shouldn't have happened this year. But I think he's a good coach, honestly. Now, coming out of high school, you mentioned it a little bit, but you were considered, according to ESPN, a three-star recruit. How do you think that your high school program really helped prepare you to play at the collegiate level?
I think for me, it was the opportunities that I was put in front of. My high school coach, you had a lot of freedom as far as what you did in your free time. So were you working out? where you put in the extra time. And that was something my coach took pride in, as far as, working out in the weight room and doing things like that. Um, so they definitely were a good program for that. They definitely were a good program for exposure. We played some good teams. We had a video department that helped us put highlights together. We used Scout in Ohio at the time, and we put our videos up on there. So definitely helped us with exposure, helped us as far as our meetings, as when coaches would come in, just guiding us as far as, this school you should maybe look at, this school you need to do this as far as academically, you need these scores. So they definitely helped make sure that we were, prepared and, ready for the clearinghouse, and everything checked the box that we could go and play at the next level.
For sure. And, in that same ESPN recruitment page as well, you were ranked as the 84th best football player in the country out of high school. You did eventually choose Michigan State, but had other offers such as Cincinnati, Louisville, Michigan, Pittsburgh, and Purdue. So, what made you decide to go play for Mike D'Antonio and Michigan State Spartans?
It really was, just the family atmosphere, the opportunity to be able to play early. And it was a feeling I got. At the time, they weren't the best team at all. I didn't really know much about Michigan State. I had a teacher at the time who had coached Pat Narduzzi in high school, with him being from the area as well. And he told me that he think it would be a good idea for me to just go up and check it out. So I took an unofficial visit up there, and kind of like the vibe, kind of like, just how they were doing things. So I decided to take an official visit, and it just so happened to be that 2009 Michigan game at Michigan State, Larry Caper's overtime touchdown, and just the atmosphere, just the camaraderie of, East Lansing. And I committed that next day. It was the only official visit I needed. I don't know. It was just a feeling. It's just, sometimes you just go with that gut feeling and it's right. And I'm definitely thankful for it, because my time there with Harlan Barnett is priceless. The relationship that we've built. Not only was he my position coach, but he's a lifelong mentor for me. So I'm definitely excited and happy with, the risk that I took. They took a chance on me, but I also took a chance on them as well. And we were able to have a good time during my tenure there. So I would say things worked out well for our recruiting class.
You touched on it a little bit before, but in high school, most players do play both sides of the field. You did mention wanting to originally only play offense. So, what position did you play on the offensive side? And kind of diving a little deeper into what you said earlier, what made you decide that you were better suited as a defensive player?
Yeah, so I play receiver, and I like getting the ball. I like to score, but I did not like to block. I did not like to block, and we ran a spread offense, and we ran the ball a good 25 times a game, and I definitely could have done a better job with my blocking, and but that was eye opening for me. I knew that I wanted things to be in my hands, as far as being able to make plays, not relying on the quarterback or the plays to be called for me to get the ball. Or so on defense, you had a chance to take aggression out if you had a bad play prior, or maybe you didn't want to get hit that play. So it was basically either get hit or be hit, get hit or deliver the hit. And so I chose to deliver the hit.
I get that because when I was playing, I was definitely better suited for the defense.
Yeah, and I didn't like being tackled. I don't like being tackled.
Fair enough. Now, you know, with your time at Michigan State, you in that Spartan defense definitely excelled. As in 3 of your 4 years, that Spartan defense ranked in the top 10. In one of those years, your junior season, you guys were ranked the third best defense in the nation. What do you think allowed you and the team to be so successful at defense in your career there?
I would say it was definitely our chemistry was the top of it. We had a lot of like-minded guys that were just hungry. It was a lot of trust built. You didn't, have to be concerned about the guy next to you not doing his job. It was a lot of accountability, player-led accountability. Guys will call you out if you weren't in your spot. So definitely we just had something special to us. After that Notre Dame game, with all those penalties called on us, it's like we just took off. I don't know. It was a turn for us that we all just bonded and came together, and we literally took that no fly zone to our chest. Like we took pride in teams trying to throw against us.
We mentioned the no-fly zone, and that, of course, is what the defensive backs at Michigan State call themselves. They are a tough, tough group.
Darquez Denard, here he comes off the corner. Pass is caught! Are you kidding? What an interception! Kurtis Drummond, already the game of his life.
In game openers, here's the pressure coming. Darquez Denard, Danico Allen gets a big hit on Van Tubergen. But you remember last year when Devin Smith from Ohio State had the crazy one-handed grab? I mean, defensive backs are not supposed to make catches like that. Wide receivers are guys that make plays like that. Just an unbelievable play by Kurtis Drummond, not thinking that he's just going to knock it down, but he goes up thinking interception.
It was just fun for us. Like we truly have fun, and it was something that carried off the field as well. Like it wasn't just something that we just showed up to the locker room and played. Like guys were always together off the field, whether that was in the academic building or just hanging out at the houses. So definitely the chemistry was the biggest thing that we were able to have.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, football is very much a team sport, so I can definitely understand that because, you kind of have to know where everybody is and what everybody's doing to make that offense or that defense run smoothly. So, and now, following that as well, in your 4 years at Michigan State, you had to go up against two elite quarterbacks during practices, those being both Connor Cook and, of course, Kirk Cousins. Well, what was it like to go up against those two guys during practices, and how do you think that having those two quarterbacks at the helm kind of helped you become a better defender?
Oh, it helped a lot because those guys were competitive. They were at practice trying to tear our heads off, just like we were trying to get it done. And Kirk, I was able to see a lot being a young player, with the ones going against the young guys. I was able to see him a lot, seeing him looking guys off and having to skies early. And you have to grow up quickly if you want to make any type of impact. So then it translated with Connor. He was just competitive. He's trying to score touchdowns in 7-on-7. They're trying to draw up other plays to score, and they're talking trash to us. So it was at practice. We battled. Coach Narduzzi, he wanted our defense to win every snap. Yeah, that's just the mindset we had, whether it was game day or practice. And being able to go against a good offense like that, we had some great backs as well. Jeremy Langford, Le'Veon, Tony Lippett, who ended up being receiver of the year, Aaron Burbridge, BJ Cunningham. I was able to go against some guys on a daily that when game day came, it was another day for us. And I think that was credit to the type of guys that we had on our team that didn't take days off. And they may not have been the highest recruited guys, but they knew how to work and they knew how to make plays. A lot of the recruiting is just guys basing off of upside, and those stars don't really mean much because there's a lot of guys that come in with low stars, such as Le'Veon Bell, Darquez Denard, Trey Waynes, Jack Conklin, that go on to be first, second round draft picks. So those stars don't mean much, but the chemistry and the attitude and just the pride that you can carry yourself with is everything. We'd always say we need dogs, and that's something that we brought. You can't turn a kitten into a dog. So either you got it or you don't.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I feel like you kind of just defined the entire Big Ten perfectly, minus Ohio State, whatever. But, because most Big Ten schools don't get a lot of, high star recruits, but at the same time, they always are able to put it together very well. Michigan State and Michigan, Penn State, Iowa, all always have consistently really solid teams that from not very high recruits. So
yeah, if you have coaches that can develop, that's big. That's big.
In your time at Michigan State as well, you were able to play in 3 bowl games, highly praised ones too, Outback Bowl, Cotton Bowl, and the Rose Bowl. You and the team won all 3 of those bowl games in your time. So I guess, what is it like to be able to play in a bowl game, and how does that compare to a game in the regular season?
Yeah, and so when we got there, it was just become second nature essentially for us. The Outback Bowl was the one that we had to scratch and claw to kind of get into. But Man, those bowl games are fun. You're away with your team for a week, just playing football and experiencing things. We got to go to Disneyland, Disney World. You're getting express passes. You're getting different gift suites that you're able to go and get things. You're getting per diem and stipends. You're traveling places that you've never been before. Well, most of us have never even been before. It was really cool. They're definitely cool experiences for a lot of kids. You're seeing parts of the country that you never would have seen. So bowl games are amazing. And then winning it is even better. But just the whole experience from the time you win that, especially the Rose Bowl, from the time we won that Big Ten championship against Ohio State and the partying in that hotel lobby to the time we landed in California, like it was it was amazing just the joy that you're able to bring to alumni and the fans and the pride that they had in you. It was amazing to see. So definitely the bowl games are definitely to play for.
I can only imagine. And, going off of that too, talk a little bit more about the Rose Bowl, especially because, that anyone that decides to go to a Big Ten school, that's just kind of a little dream is to be able to play in that Rose Bowl game. So talk a little bit about that experience and what that really was like to be able to not only play in it but win it as well.
Yeah, it's almost unbelievable. And we were in a time that we were so tunnel vision of just trying to, chase greatness that we didn't even realize the impact that we had made. Like now that we have the time to reflect and look back on it, like it's amazing. Like I said, that whole trip from the time we beat Ohio State to all out there, like the Spartan Nation was amazing. Even the drive to the Rose Bowl, like going up through the mountains and you see the stadium sitting in the mountains, like it gives you chills just to see the because the history that's been played there, all the people that have dreamed and worked to try to get there. It had been 26 years or so since we had been there as a university. It was just truly amazing. The gift suites going to what is it, Disneyland out there. The having the fast passes, like it was cool, man. We stayed right downtown by the Staples Center. So it was cool, man. Like going out, getting the hot dogs off the street carts, like the bacon wrapped around it. Like it was amazing, man. Like being down there, just the celebrities we were able to see at that time. I still remember Wiz Khalifa and Amber Rose going to the movie theater right across the street from us. Like, so just little things like that. We had Rich Homie Quan celebrating with us. Like it was a truly a memorable season. Even after all the games, we would dance in the locker room after all our wins. Like it was just truly special about that season. And I can remember all the way back to the banquet after our 2012 season and Coach D'Antonio saying that you will be the ones and just basically just speaking it into existence and just how powerful the word and the tongue is. Like it's seriously unreal to be for us to been able to do that. And like I say, from the bowl games to the travel out there, it was amazing. It was truly amazing.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, part of my school's program, I got to spend a semester out there too, and LA is just such a different culture shock than the Midwest. So,
Completely different.
I can definitely get
Completely
that.
different.
Now, going after that, also at your time at Michigan State, you were a two-time first team All Big Ten, as well as a Big Ten Defensive Back of the Year. What did these achievements mean to you?
Man, it was cool to be able to achieve those things just because the other players that I played with, they were also able to achieve it. Seeing Darquez being able to win the Jim Thorpe and go first round, seeing Trey Waynes being able to go first round, seeing Isaiah making all Big Ten, the two guys I just mentioned previously making all Big Ten. So we had a defensive back that room that was kind of expected. That was the bar that you had to chase. We had previous safety before me, Trenton Robinson, Marcus Hyde, guys that are Otis Wiley that were all Big Ten, being able to get these accolades. So it's definitely cool to, I've taken Jetson back to the stadium and be able to show him, your All-American banner. Like those are definitely awards that at the time, I don't think you realize how cool it is. But that's something that you'll always be able to say and show my kids now that, these are things that we're able to do. There's a plaque outside the stadium for our two Big Ten championships that you can show them that your name was on. And it's definitely cool to be able to achieve that. But I'll definitely, like you read earlier, was a part of some great defenses. And that helps a lot as a defensive back. We had some pass rushers in Shalik Calhoun, Malik McDowell, that really wreaked havoc. And that, that makes it easier for me. I had Max Bulla in the middle that was, basically calling out the other team's plays. Danico's Island. I can go on and on about guys that were truly out there making my job a lot easier. When I have first round corners on the outside, that already limits where you're gonna throw the ball. So you just got to be in the right place at the right time when you got great people around you.
We talked about it a little bit. I never thought I'd ever have a sparring on my podcast, but it's no secret that the rivalry between Michigan and Michigan State is one of the best rivalries in all of sports. So from a perspective of someone who's played in these games, what is this rivalry really like, and how bad is the blood really between these two teams?
Yeah, no, it's real. And you find out very quick, like as a person from Ohio who didn't truly understand the rivalry, coming from Ohio is, you don't give a damn about the whole state. It's Ohio State, Michigan from there. So coming up here, it was new, but you learned quickly just as much it was talked about, owning a state, bragging rights. It's true. It's true. You find out from the opening kickoff, and you feel it in the atmosphere from the fans' intensity to the players' intensity. Like I literally remember, like there was times we snatched change off of other players' necks. Just literally, just it's you're literally feel like you're battling for every Spartan that played. It's such a pride thing because for us coming from, East Lansing, we feel like there's a lack of respect. Like we feel like we don't have the respect that we deserve. That's how we felt as players when we played against them. So we took it all personal. So whenever we, especially when they came to East Lansing, but whenever we played them, we wanted to make sure it was the most physical game that they felt. And we took pride in that. And you seriously felt that. Like I said, I remember guys, the year they had the -48 was that 2013 or something. We literally snatched. There was multiple instances taking guys' necklaces or just literally you try to bully them to the point that's for, I'm sorry to use that word, but that's what we were trying to do on the football field. Like the rivalry and the hatred, the dislike is really there just because we don't feel like there's a mutual respect. We don't feel like that they feel like we feel like they feel like they're better than us. That's how we perceive that's how we perceive them. So, and we take that personally. So that's true. The rivalry is not fake. It is no gimmicks. When you're out there on that field, you truly feel it from the opening snap to the last snap.
Oh yeah, and definitely like even just going there as a fan, I've been to a few of those games and it's just the atmosphere is absolutely crazy. I might have honestly gone to one while you were still playing, but I'm not exactly sure. I'll have to text Emma Line and see if I ever did.
I'm sure you probably was at one.
Yeah.
They got us on a couple field goals the one year. But other than that, I had a pretty good track record against Wolverines.
Kurtis, you finished your career tied for 7th in interceptions. How does it really feel to be seen as one of these really great players in the history of Michigan State football?
It's pretty cool. I guess somebody like I don't really, I guess, ever look at it like that or perceive it that way. I'm just thankful to be a part of some good teams that we were able to win a lot of games, bring the school a Rose Bowl. I'm most proud of being able to win a Rose Bowl with my guys. That's something that I'm excited to be able to, cherish here coming up. It'll be 10 years that quick. Like it's just crazy to think how fast time will go, man. But it's cool to been able to have made some plays while being there and know that I made an impact. But like I said, I had a great coach in Harlan Barnett. I had some great guys around me that truly made my job a lot easier. I think, like I said, if you surround yourself around the right people and just in the right place at the right time, good things can happen for you. And I think that's That's kind of what happened, man. A lot of the plays I made, just I was in the right place at the right time. But I'm definitely thankful for it. I'm thankful to be able to, like I said, really show my kids what I was able to do. My wife, his mom was an excellent athlete as well. She ran track, and so to be able to, have that little debate with one another who had a better athletic career. And we still kind of compete and give each other a little bit at that, but it's fun. It's fun to been able to, know you made an impact during your time.
Well, shoot, I might have to get Amelia on next and talk about her career.
Hey, it'll be worth hearing. She won't. You might have to because she don't like talking about it much.
Now, Chris, following your career at Michigan State, you did go undrafted in 2015, but was shortly picked up after by the Houston Texans. You did bounce around a little bit between the active and the practice squad, but you were able to play in some NFL games. So I guess, what was it like to actually be able to play in some of these games?
Yeah, just like you said, like it was definitely a cool experience. It's a business. You learn that quickly. But they always say it's not how you get in, it's just how you stay in. So you definitely rely on your ways that you've handled adversity and just don't take things personal. Those opportunities to play in those games, man, are very special. Every opportunity you get from the preseason to the regular season to practice, there's not many guys who get to put on and never be in those locker rooms. So to be able to, spend a few years having that part of my chapter of my life was, man, it was crazy. It's truly cool to be able to, think and say that. Crazy experience, crazy business. It's a lot more to it than people realize. As much of a business is, but it's a cool thing to been able to achieve. You learn a lot about it. You definitely view the game a little bit differently, having been through it and seen it firsthand. But I was able to, meet some great people, make some great friends, experience the city of Houston, a place that we truly loved. We were able to conceive our first child there. We got married while living there. So it was a lot of great things happened during my time while being in Houston. So like I said, I'm thankful for the opportunity and thankful to have chose Houston. But to play in them games, man, it's cool. I can remember we had a practice, like we practiced against Tom Brady one year. And that was probably one person that I was just truly starstruck with, like, wow. Yeah. But even like my first practice with the Texans, like being in the huddle with JJ Watt and Brian Cushing, like I can remember looking around like, wow, I'm in the huddle with these guys, like break. And you forget what the damn play was called. So you gotta learn quickly, like, okay, I'm one of these guys too. Like, you've made it to this level, and yeah, while there's levels to it within that realm, you were able to, achieve something great as well.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And you mentioned kind of having to view the game a little bit differently. So, looking at both the NCAA and the NFL, in your opinion, what really is that difference between playing for a university versus an NFL team? Just the
I mean,
talent.
NFL game, you got guys at lining up at defensive end that are, you know, Michael Parsons, look at what he's running. Jadeveon Clowney, look how he's running. You know, whereas in college, you may play that guy once a year if he's on your schedule. The next level, every guy is big, fast, strong. It's about a lot of smartness at the next level. Like who's doing that extra time, who's putting in that extra film work, who's putting that extra body work, who's has the diet, who's stretching. So there's a lot of extra stuff coming in. In college, you can get away with just being a freak. You have, some guys who get away with being a freak. And then there's a lot of guys who are on scholarship, but maybe not quite get that opportunity to be that quite of an athlete. At that next level, everyone's an elite athlete. Um, you have to be able to outsmart them. You have to be able to every little step matters. Like the false steps, you can get beat. In college, you can kind of recover a little bit from those false steps against certain guys. The windows are a lot tighter at the next level, meaning those quarterbacks, those windows open and close. For running backs, they open and close. The opportunity to make plays are a lot. They come by far and few, but you just got to be in the right place again. But So yeah, college, NFL, there's a lot of athletes, but NFL, everyone's an elite athlete.
Now, Curse, unfortunately, your pro career didn't last as long as you might have hoped, but at the end of the day, you were still able to make a dream that most people don't accomplish in their life, and be able to play a game in the NFL and even be on an NFL team to begin with. So, just kind of talk about that overall experience being an NFL player and what you did enjoy the most about it.
Yeah, being an NFL player was definitely cool. Um, it brought you a lot of attention though. Put you in the spotlight, whether that was good or bad, whether you liked it or not. But it also gave you a platform. I would say that was the biggest thing that I liked about playing in NFL is the platform that it provided. Being able to be a light and inspiration for kids back home, that went through the same thing or sat in the same seats, same uniforms that I wore, and seeing that I was able to get to where I got to, or just giving people hope, being able to give back to my community through, different charity things, whether it was a backpack event or, different ways to interact with different communities. It gives you a platform that kids listen to you when you talk. A lot of times, if you have something to say, it gives you an opportunity to truly make an impact. And for me, that's big to me is to be able to help the youth. And that's where I spent a lot of my time was at different, groups that were underprivileged or boys' homes to be able to be a mentor and really just provide a light, provide hope, because that's really all you need is hope. You never know what tomorrow brings or today brings, but if you have some hope, you give yourself a chance. So that's really what I'm most thankful for about the NFL is the platform that it provided, because a lot of people, you can either do good or do bad with it. You have an opportunity that a lot of people are looking at you, and what you choose to do with it is up to you. So I would definitely say that was it.
Chris, following that, you did bounce around a few other leagues for a little bit, playing for the San Antonio Commanders of the AAF and the Dallas Renegades of the XFL. What were those experiences like?
Yeah, yeah, man, they were they were different. So I decided I didn't play in the Renegade. I played in the AAF. I got drafted for the Renegade, but then decided not to play just because I had a kid at the time, man. And it wasn't our best decision for our family. I felt it's different, man. It's definitely different. Playing, I definitely agree that there should be something else where guys can have another opportunity or a chance to get some more film and things like that. It just was hard. It was a different experience. My wife was pregnant at the time, so it was kind of hard not to be there with her all the time and be. So it was for us. It was kind of more of like an eye-opening experience. Of just it's time. It's hard to admit that it's time to hang your cleats up or let something that you love go or that you've done for so long. But everybody's day come, whether you choose it or not. You can't play forever. So it was fun to been able to have even done that.
Yeah, I mean, I agree because obviously, it takes a lot for a football team to make money, but at the same time, the NFL is the only pro team in America that doesn't have a minor league team. So it would be kind of nice to have that minor league, and have other players have these opportunities too.
Yeah, it's gonna take for the affiliation because all the other leagues they're affiliated with that major league team, so or
Right.
major league industry. So
Right.
we'll see.
Now, tracking back to Michigan State for a second, you mentioned it a little bit, your relationship with your wife, Amelia, and how that you guys met because she ran track at Michigan State as well. But, you and Amelia obviously had your son, Jetson. You know, that's honestly a really athletic family. She running track, you playing football. So how do you and Amelia kind of plan on incorporating both of your athletic backgrounds to kind of instill in Jetson for his childhood, I guess?
Yeah, so it's really been, and that's why I love Amelia. We open to letting him just try and kind of go his route. I'm not gonna push him any way, any direction, any sport. We kind of trying to expose him So he's done a little water introductory. He's on a soccer team now. He does gymnastics. So he'll do a little t-ball league here in the spring. So he's definitely getting exposed to some different things. And if he chooses sports, that's up to him. I really hope he does because I enjoy to be around him. But I mean, he loves running. So we'll see what he decides he wants to do. But I think we just try to expose him to as much as we can and see what he chooses to do. Whatever he does, I'll help work out with him or try to, if I don't know the sport, I'll figure it out too, because I definitely want to be involved in his development and his work. And if he does choose to play a sport, at least in his younger years, I wouldn't coach him when he got older, but in his younger years, I would help in his development.
Definitely. Now, Kurtis, looking back at your career and everything that you've done, is there anything that you would have done differently in your career?
I mean, that's hard to say because I mean, you never know how it would have planned out. I'm definitely thankful for how it played out. Like you said, I mean, obviously, you don't ever know the ending date, but I don't know. Yeah, I'm sure there's some things I would have changed, whether it was, maybe catching an interception here or even just exploring the draft process, maybe after my junior year, after we won the Rose Bowl and, things were hot. But like I said, I'm happy where we are. I'm thankful for how things have played out. Everything happened for a reason. I was able to meet my wife while at Michigan State, and things align how they align, man. I'm a true believer how, things will play out how they should play out. And, you got to take the good with the bad. Things could definitely be worse. I could definitely be in a worse situation and experience worse things. So I wouldn't have changed much because what if I'd have changed it and things got worse? So I'm thankful, man. I try to be optimistic. I try to, look at the glass half full. And so I'm thankful for what we were able to achieve.
Yeah, absolutely. And kind of going off of that as well, you're only 30 years old. Is there still a chance we could see Kurtis Drummond attempt to make a return to the NFL?
Man, the way my knees and my back, my body feel, man, I'm the best hope is what, 18 years, see what Jetson can do, because my body, yeah, that's one thing I don't miss is them sore necks, them sore shoulders. I've had a couple concussions. I'm okay. Let me put that chapter behind me. I appreciate that experience. Let it propel me on to this next adventure in my life.
All right, fair enough. Now, Kurtis, just kind of wrap things up. Obviously, your career did not go as how you would probably have liked it, but for someone to have a similar dream of making it to the NFL, what advice would you give them?
Yeah, man. And it's not even that it didn't go as I don't know if I even really had a plan of how my career went. Because when I look back at it, the experiences that it taught me was amazing. I walked out healthy. That's the huge thing. I would say if you're trying to achieve anything at the highest level, whether it's sports, whether it's in your work career, it definitely has to come down to being resilient and having the dedication. Because you're gonna have good days, you're gonna have bad days. But if you're resilient and persistent and just have that constant dedication of what you're trying to achieve, you can't be stopped. And you have to truly have goals in mind. Like you can't just say, I want to go to the NFL and have no plan of achieving it. Like, how can I get to the NFL? Well, I need to work out. I need to diet right. I need to, make sure my grades are right to even have the opportunity. First, I need to even get into college. There's steps and things that you have to put in place to even achieve things, because everyone can't do anything they want to do. I mean, that's just reality of life. But you can instill the things to be the best at whatever it is you're doing. And I think that's more important, to just try to be the best at whatever it is you're doing, you're dedicated at the grind to be better, and you're just resilient, because everybody's going to face adversity. Everyone's going to have highs, everyone's going to have lows, but it's just how dedicated you can stay and how resilient you can be to not give up.
Kurtis, thank you so much for coming on. Really appreciate it. Excited to see. Just hopefully I can see you guys soon. Maybe if you guys are ever back in Marshall, we can meet up. It'd be cool.
Yeah, you let me know, man. You out in Utah, so I don't know how often you get back, but nah, man, it'd definitely be nice to, catch up again.
Well, hey, I mean, if you want to go to a Jazz game, I can definitely get you guys tickets too. So.
Okay, we'll have to maybe have to take you up on that one, man.
All right, sounds good. Thanks,
All right,
Curtis.
man. Thank you again.
Yeah, of course. But that's gonna wrap things up for us today, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of the BaseLINE podcast. Thank you so much to Kurtis Drummond for coming on, talking about his career at Michigan State. Gross. Kidding. And also talk about his little stint in the NFL and overall his family and what he does outside of the NFL. If you guys enjoyed this episode, please like, subscribe, share it with a friend. And as always, if this is your first time watching the BaseLINE podcast, go view my other episodes as I put a lot of time and effort into them, and it would just mean a lot. As always as well, if you enjoyed the music for this episode, go check out Hidden Harmony. Link for them will be in the description. And with all that being said, guys, thank you again so much for tuning into this episode of the BaseLINE podcast. I'm your host, BaseLINE Newman, and we'll catch you guys next time.